A-level, new curriculum, abridged curriculum. What is what? We all know that the previous week, or the week that we left behind, the first week of, I think it was the first week. Yes, it was the first week. Yes, it was the first week of February. So the NCDC, which is the National Curriculum Development Center, communicated the changes that were made on the curriculum of A-level. Why did the changes happen? They said that these changes happened because they wanted to align the A-level curriculum with the new O-level curriculum, so these students who are waiting for their UCE certificates, yes, those ones who graduated from the O-level new curriculum, they are able to dive into an A-level curriculum and it is not strange. They want to make it familiar for them. And so many changes were made in this curriculum. And that's what I want to talk about, because I was part of the meeting, which was like a crash course for the head teachers all over Uganda who have schools with A-level. The NCDC conducted a training for the head teachers so they can train them on how to handle this new, I don't want to call it new, but this curriculum which is going to be done at A-level. And I was very lucky to be part of the meeting. So I want to tell you all that happened in this curriculum using the PowerPoint presentation that was used by the NCDC officials. Are you ready to dive into it? Okay, let's go. So here we go with the changes. So this was the introduction of the training that was conducted by the NCDC. The pioneer cohort of the NLS sat their end of cycle examinations in 2024 and need to find a similar mode of curriculum at advanced secondary, in brackets A-level. So these are the objectives: to align the two levels, that is to say lower secondary and advanced level curriculum. The A-level curriculum has been reviewed to match the competence-based model. I talked about this. They have made a few changes to make sure that the advanced level curriculum aligns with the O-level curriculum, which is new. That is the second bullet. The third bullet, since its inception, so they are saying that this A-level curriculum, can you imagine we have done this curriculum for so many ages? This curriculum came on board in 1950s. And we've been doing it for all this long. And they're saying it has been facing so many challenges. The same challenges which we saw in the O-level curriculum before it was reviewed. So that called for review of this curriculum. One of the challenges which it faced, it was more of knowledge-based. And yet, they saw that this knowledge encouraged more cramming. And with so many graduates graduating, we realized that cram work never helped our country to get anywhere. So they decided to change it into a competence-based kind of a curriculum. So that was one of the biggest challenges that this curriculum faced. So that's why it was reviewed. Level curriculum was changed is to avoid a system shock. The A-level curriculum review is an adaptation of the existing syllabuses by modifying content, in bracket overloads, obsolete, overlaps, incorporating the shelved O-level, in bracket. So they are saying that the reason why they came up with this curriculum for A-level was basically to modify the content. The content was too much. There was overload whereby there were so many unnecessary things learners could learn and they could never help them in real life. Obsolete. Some of the content was expired. It wasn't relevant anymore. It wasn't catering for the current needs of the country. Overlaps, like there are things learners learned in O-level and then they were repeated again in A-level. For example, the digestive system in biology. So they were trying to remove all those things. That's why they came up with a curriculum that is different, so it can cater for the current needs. Another thing they're talking about, aligning methodology with competence approach. Now the learners who did new curriculum in O-level, the learning and teaching process was more of competence-based, learner-centered methods of teaching, whereas in A-level teachers were still pouring out notes and learners were on the receiving end. So they were trying to bridge that gap. That's why actually the curriculum was changed. Then also adjusting assessment assessment to focus on application of knowledge and skills. So assessment before, it was to check did the learner understand the knowledge taught in biology, chemistry, science, physics, and yet in O level, the new curriculum, learners were being assessed to check the knowledge, to check the skills. Did they learn that skill? Can they apply that knowledge? Can they translate that knowledge into a skill? So that's the reason why they changed this A-level curriculum, so that the learners are able to show the knowledge they have learned in a skill that they can apply. So the assessment was also basically to be changed, the assessment of these learners. Then another point is averting gaps faced in the preceded curriculum. There were so many gaps. There were so many gaps that needed to be bridged in this curriculum that is at A level. Let's go to another slide. Another slide is saying the adapted A level curriculum is a hybrid of existing curriculum modified in content, methodology, and assessment. Basically, they took this A-level old curriculum and they modified it. They modified its content by removing some things. The methodology is no longer going to be teacher-centered, but it's going to be learner-centered, the methodology of teaching it, and also the assessment. The emphasis is going to be put on continuous assessments instead of focusing more on the summative assessment at the end of the term, at the end of the study year. It's going to encourage more of formative assessments. They are going to happen more and more in classes. Then the subjects on the menu have remained the same. There is no subject that has been removed from A level. The subjects are still all there that have been taught. The content has been reorganized to remove repetition. Like I told you, adjustments have been made in the content. Some things have been removed, so they have reorganized this content, and the learners are going to focus on the adjusted content that is remaining in order to help them to acquire knowledge and acquire skills that they can apply in various situations. That's the meaning of competence-based. Also in this A-level curriculum that has been changed, they have changed it to competence-based approach in teaching and learning and assessment. Competence-based approach in teaching and learning, it means that we as the educators, it's now time to focus on the competence. At the end of the day, when the learner gets out of school after A level, what can they do with what they have learned? What are they competent in? Okay, I know previously learners could be like, I know biology, I know the digestive system, but they couldn't illustrate that, they couldn't show, they couldn't apply that knowledge. But now a learner is going to be able to apply what they learned from school. At the end of the day, the learners are going to be able to show that. That's the meaning of competence-based approach. We are going to focus more on the skilling of the learner as we as educators than just giving learners knowledge that they may actually not even ever use. So what is new in this curriculum? The rationalizing of content with emphasis on the critical concepts without repetition and focusing on integration of knowledge. So rationalizing of content with emphasis on critical concepts. There are things that learners were learning that they never needed. They were not taking them anywhere. So these changes have called for rationalizing of content, focusing on what is important. What is important, and that's why some things which were being repeated have been removed, and we are focusing more on getting only those things that are going to help the learners in the world they are in today. Then the integrating of generic skills into the subjects. There are so many skills the learners are they need in life, and yet these skills were not being taught in the previous old A-level curriculum. So many generic skills that the learners, someone might be wondering, what are generic skills? Generic skills, these are added skills a learner learns. Like, for example, skills like the ability to present themselves, the ability to work in groups, the ability to present the content they have learned. Those are the general skills we are talking about here. Then merging related content by removing overloads and overlaps. That is also what's new, that we have removed some content, and in case some content was looking similar, they have merged it together to form one thing which is not going to be repeated. They're also shifting the emphasis from knowledge acquisition to knowledge application. Before, a learner could be like, I can tell you the entire a periodic table, but now it's not about you telling me a periodic table. Can you apply the knowledge of a periodic table? Can you show it in real life? Then valuing classroom-based assessments to build the required competencies per topic. Now, the classroom assessments, those are the small tests, those are the small quizzes. Before, they didn't actually make much sense at A level, but now it's high time those small assessments make value or add value or make sense, or they are given priority than just a learner focusing on you neb. No, now the small assessments, the formative assessments are also being given priority this time around. Changing from teacher-based, that is lecturing, the teacher comes, lectures and go, to learner-centered methodologies. There are so many learner-centered methodologies like think, pay and share, or there are so many learner-centered methods like differentiation of the classroom, where you get different learners with different abilities and you teach them in the different groups. There are so many chunk and chew, chunk and chew is also very, very good. Brain dump. So those are the learner-centered methods which teachers have not been applying in our schools, and now it's high time we apply all those things. Descriptive recording of learners' achievements. Before, a learner could get a 90, but that 90 wasn't explained. They have got a 90, but now we are going to describe the learner's achievement, that okay, they have gotten an A in biology, but they are able to use the equipment in the laboratory, they are able to describe this biology, they are able to apply ABCD, so the parent can know that, oh, my learner got an A, but what is the meaning of this A? So the structure of the syllabus. The structure, it has an introductory part, gives key information of the subject to the implementer before delivering into teaching. So the teachers are going to be able to know what it is all about, because we are the implementers, we the educators. So we need to know what we are going to teach before we even teach it. Again, another thing, the detailed syllabus unfolds. The detailed syllabus unfolds content in terms of topics per term. Every topic is organized into a competence, learning outcomes, suggested learning activities, and assessment strategies. So this is basically, this content here is for teachers, it's not for the learners, but basically they are talking about how the syllabus is going to look like and how the content should be organized. Then the part 3, section 3, it gives information of assessment, modification, or more modalities, both formative and summative. That this information is more for teachers, not for learners. Implications on school management and supervision. As the first inspector and quality assurance officer in school, you need to ensure, this is for the head teachers, preparation for teaching. The key tools, syllabus, schemes, and work of lesson plans. So the head teachers have work to follow up. Have the teachers done the schemes of work? Have the teachers worked on the lesson plans very well? The physical attendance of the teachers to the learners. Are the teachers there in the lessons which they are supposed to teach, or they are just sending notes for the learners to copy? Teaching methodologies. Which methodologies are the teachers using in class when they are teaching the learners? The head teachers are going to be able to focus on those things. The learning environment. Now, this curriculum, which is competence-based, calls for a lot of work. Like the classroom environment is not all about having a big blackboard and many seats. Nah, it's gonna be more organized in order to bring about that that competency based kind of a feeling. You know, it's not gonna be like a lecture room. No, it's gonna change. So the learning environment has to be intentional in order to bring about, to foster that what is being talked about. The assessment and reporting, evidence of learners' achievement, learners' scores, descriptive records. The assessment and the reporting, it's no longer about a learner got a 90 in physics, got an 8 in biology. You have to describe, okay, that 90, what are they able to do? So you tell us what they are able to do. You describe the grade which they have gotten. Extending the learning beyond classroom. So the learning is gonna go outside the classroom, you know. The A-level curriculum has changed to competence-based, content reorganized. Take note of the changes. That when I talked about it, teaching and learning approaches have changed to interactive and learner-centered. I talked about that. The school heads are in charge of spreading the continuous school-based teacher capacity development support. I also talked about that. Then last but not least, textbooks and other instructional materials equipments will continue to be relevant. The textbooks the learners have been using are the ones which they are going to still use in this changed new curriculum, which I would want to call like a new curriculum, are the same things which they are going to use to help them go through their A-level. As a school head, provide the necessary resources. This is for the head teachers. The head teachers are called upon to provide the things teachers need in order to implement this curriculum. So that's all I had for you. If you missed this presentation, I hope when you go through it, you can read and understand it. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You can leave a comment and like. Please share to your friends so this content could reach many people. And you never know how many people can get helped or can find value in it. Thank you for watching. See you in another video. Bye bye.